Hello and welcome, I'm Oleksandra and you're watching Head to Head with UATV. After 258 days behind bars, Crimean Tatar activist Edem Bekirov has been released from a pretrial detention center in the occupied Crimea. Just to remind you, last December, Russian authorities accused him of illegally possessing firearms and explosives, charges he denies. To talk more about this case, we welcome to the studio today Oleksandra Romantsova, Executive Director at the Center for Civil Liberties. Hello and thank you for joining us today.
Hello.
So, Bekirov has been released from a pretrial detention center and basically court satisfied the request from the prosecutor to soften the measure of restraint, and this measure of restraint is not even a house arrest, it's something softer, that basically Bekirov has to go to the court every now and then, but he is free to live and travel everywhere around Crimea. So have you expected the prosecutor to request this change, and have you expected that subsequently the Central Court would rule in favor of it?
If we will speak about case Edem Bekirov at all, I think it's biggest fail of FSB ever, because they trying to create like such image like a, I don't know, bomber, terrorist and extremist and just old Crimean Tatarian guy who decided to be a Rambo or something like this. Because
from the 57-year-old man who has disability, who is an amputee.
I think it's first of all because they need this story for his wife, because she's one of the member of Majlis, and she is political active like person. But if we will speak about Edem Bekirov case, so they trying to create such impossible stories. So that was really they're surprised for us that only now they decided to to give this possibility really illness person who has such big number of different diseases only now going to at home. And I think we think that he will come to his mom home. She lives in Crimea, and his old daughter same lives in Crimea. And
not in Simferopol.
I will not tell about that. I think it's personal,
right,
that
yes.
it's not a good idea to have them in public area.
I mean, but he can leave Simferopol.
He can leave Simferopol. This new decision of court give them such possibility. But first of all need to be for his health, because before that, all 20 years he has all these diseases, and only care by his family give the possibility him be active person. That's why we need back this care of family, first of all, and second, it's a possibility to have normal social connection, because all our political prisoners in jails, they don't have enough possibility just to have a contact with the family, with relatives, with supporters.
They're
who can
isolated.
give this. Yeah,
it's easier to break down an isolated person than.
So that first of all, its first step, it's connection with care about his health, because during all this period which he's staying in the jail, his health started to be worse and worse. So it's really important that now he will normal access with medicine, normal access with doctor care.
And let's just remind the audience that Edem Bekirov suffers from diabetes. He underwent heart surgery, and he has numerous heart problems. And as I mentioned before, he has disability. He doesn't have a leg.
Yeah, and all this connection, it's that's why it's so important to have a care by his family in medicine aspect, because all this in complex, it's really hard. If you even have one of these diagnosed, you have a problem for your everyday daily living. But all this complex don't give the possibility to be forgot about your health for one day. So
it's
that's
a struggle.
why. Yeah, that's why it was so hard to be in pretrial jail, because it's not a place where you can at all be sure that you will have all what you need. But if you're a person with such a diagnosis, you're sure don't have enough what you need. And
enough care, yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned that this is probably, in your opinion, the biggest failure of Russian FSB. Do you think that the deterioration of health is the reason for this release? What is the reason for this release? You mentioned that there was some kind of political pressure on his wife because she is active in Majlis. So basically, it's a family case. Probably it has links, yes. So why did they let him go?
I think it's only now they make this decision. Maybe because now we have this possibility and this reason that change of authority in Ukrainian gives the Russian Federation possibility to show some positive steps or something like this. But I think it's even local process inside the Crimea, occupied Crimea, that because
you
really
mean the human rights activists fight?
I hope that we have a decision of European Court of Human Rights which told that he need to be released, but the Russian Federation showing that they don't care about such a decision. We have Amnesty International big campaign about him, so more than 500,000 people wrote the letters about he need to be released. And even if we will see in Russian Federation legislation all these disease which he has, that means that he can be inside the jail anyway. So it's they don't give this truly documents about his situation with health, because if they truly showing what kind of disease he has, that means she can't be put in the jail at all, even inside the Russian legislation area. So that's why they don't accept the diagnostic from independent medicine, some doctors who give all this documents which will send it to European
independent medical
court.
expertise.
So in this moment we understood that something happened inside this procedure.
But do you understand what happened? Because this is a really strange situation. That,
till case will not stop. I'm not interested. If it's working, okay. When he will be at home, we will be interesting what happens. Seriously.
Yes, we're all glad about this release. It's just, this whole story is very, very strange, because over 8 months, Bekirov's lawyers waged a battle for life of this man, basically, Alexei Ladin and Islam Velilayev. They have been requesting numerous medical examinations, and Bekirov undergone several medical examinations, and all of these doctors seemed not really caring, and they kept commenting reportedly his state of health is satisfactory. So Bekirov had to be returned to the detention center number 1, and now something has changed.
I think when his lawyers can speak about that, they will. How they can do that, but it's surely their courage and their work, because they, it's really hard to work in an area where when we are not sure that law exists at all, like in Crimea, because it's a great zone for law. But when you courage do your professional work and do that really high quality, I think even in such situation you can win. So it's great victory. First of all, their lawyers. I think they're really thankful, thankful from whole our organization and for all human rights, and surely about their family.
Yes, they're very devoted. Yes, they're very devoted, and they're doing a great job. There was one article that I paid attention to on internet. Not only one, but there was only one article mentioning that Edem Bekirov is slowly dying, so that could be a reason that Russian authorities decided finally to let him out, and that could possibly be a reason why an open court hearing was basically happening behind closed doors for media. That could be their fear to show Bekirov's real state of health to the public. Could this be true?
Yeah, it can be, because it's one of the versions, and it's really possible. Because if we will think about preview releasing by Gennady Afanasyev, who has a really big problem with healthcare, and Sushenka, because that was really biggest dangers of their possibility of dying. So I think it's one of the ways. So maybe Russian Federation don't really want be like a place where like prisoners dying and create like some story of science.
Well,
People,
there would be an outrage from media that the political prisoner died in prison, so maybe.
Yeah,
maybe this is some kind of
I think
strategy.
it's one of component why they decided to do that, to do that really, like recognize that we have such big problem with his health, and so we need to release him.
Do you have any latest information about his current state of health?
No, we don't have it. We're trying to keep touch with family. We just know that youngest daughter and his wife can't possibly come to Crimea, so they will see them only by Skype, only by video. But it's really important that he will be connected with his family. So I think other part of family. So after this, we will have some news about his health. It's just happened yesterday. And
he's still not out of the detention center. Yeah. Yes, he's still not out there. The lawyer of Edem Bekirov, Alexei Ladin, stated that the action of the court's employees were unlawful and they did not give the defense time necessary to get familiar with the case file, and they were not letting media to enter the courtroom. And we have a soundbite on that. Let's watch.
The motion was filed by the acting head of the medical office at the pre-trial detention center after Bekirov, this time not formally, had a medical checkup at the Samashko hospital. This was preceded by an independent diagnosis from doctors, which was presented by the defense, and it states that Edem Bekirov has an illness which precludes holding him under arrest. A thorough examination confirmed the arguments of the defense, and at present, Edem Bekirov is on his way to the detention center to get his medicine. He will stay in Simferopol.
So Bekirov is not the only one suffering from this kind of fate, and dozens of Crimean Tatars facing extremism and terrorism charges. They have passed through this detention center, number one, and we have heard numerous stories that human rights activists are calling this detention center in degrading conditions, inhuman treatment. They say that it's comparable with torture. So basically, we do realize that political prisoners have to survive in severe conditions and in inhuman conditions. But can you just remind us once again how many Ukrainian political prisoners are being held behind bars right now in the occupied Crimea?
In occupied Crimea, we have more than 30, and part of them was transferred to the Russian Federation because accusation by extremism and terrorism in Criminal Codex of Russia Federation need to look by courts, which like war courts, it's called, in Rostov-na-Donu, and in Moscow. Usually they use Rostov-na-Donu. So today we have one of hearing of one of Hizbut Tahrir arrested political prisoner, and now they make a stop by court, and all this case they created by same methodology. They took the sometimes group, sometimes personally, people, usually after they comes to some Muslim, some mosque or some meeting between Muslims, and after they told that you are a member of Hizbut Tahrir party. So
right,
we
extremism organization, according to
we
Russian
banned this
authorities.
organization, Russia Federation. You have usually it's connecting with the search at home and trying to find some literature which banned, for understanding list of banned literature in Russia Federation. Every court in whole territory of Russia Federation can ban any literature, like, I don't know, book about, I don't know, squares or something like this. And after this, that list started to be for whole territory of Russia Federation. So some small suit, I don't know, in Voronezh region or something like this, can like put new lines in this list, and you can even not imagine how many these points of such a list can be in this list now. So So it's usual arrest, search, and trying to find some literature. They trying to find such like mystery witness who give the information by that I heard something like he told about Hizbut Tahrir, or somebody told me that he is member of Hizbut Tahrir, something like this.
Yeah, these are like KGB tools, and this is very sad, and I would say this is very scary that Ukrainians have to go through this on these occupied territories. Let's hope that we will have enough strength to resist this and to defend our compatriots, and let's hope that they will have enough strength to survive in those severe conditions. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up this conversation, but I thank you for being a guest today in our studio. That was Oleksandra Romantsova, Executive Director at the Center for Civil Liberties. Thank you for watching Head to Head, and stay tuned for more with UATV.